We're pleased to announce this season that the 1878 FM podcast is sponsored by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game. Green King Sport venues are showing every single televised Everton fixture over the 23-24 season. And with more than 900 sports clubs across the UK, it doesn't matter whether you're based in Liverpool or London. You can watch every single minute of the action. Keep an eye out during the season for events, offers, content and competitions that put you closer to the action. The Toffees are on the telly this week, so if you're not heading to Goodison to watch us take on Villa, then get down to your local Green King Sports pub to catch the game. Welcome to the 1878 FM podcast, episode 21, season 2. We're expecting to be on Netflix by season 4. Maybe something like that. Well, you never know. You never know.
What are they going to do? Are they going to like pick us up and then dramatise this time?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Who would play you?
Who will play me? Will Mellor.
Will Mellor?
Yeah.
Will Mellor doesn't look anything like
He
you.
doesn't, but there's quite often now I'm seeing things where people don't look anything like. I mean, Tom Cruise played Jack Reacher. But you know he's 3 foot smaller than him.
Fictional character, though.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it sort of does.
It doesn't matter.
Interestingly, though,
Yeah.
that now we're talking about this,
Yeah.
is that I've just watched Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Okay, so pause, because I'm on episode 3, so don't
I'm
spoil
not
it.
going
But
to
carry
ruin
on.
anything for you.
But
I'm
he's
just-
all
I
right.
think-
That's why I said Will Mellor, because he's fresh in my mind.
absolutely.
But carry on.
But just in keeping with this conversation,
Yeah.
then when I was watching the actual real news last night, and they had Paula Venables on there,
Oh, yeah.
and then the other one who was her sidekick.
Yeah.
I actually thought that
bye-bye.
the casting of the drama characters
Mm-hmm.
with the real characters was actually very well done.
Yeah. I mean,
It was interesting
yeah.
to see that, they had thought about this a lot, in their casting, and yeah, I thought they did a good job, and it was an excellent little drama series. I thought.
I mean, it's an absolute disgrace. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll be honest, Dave. This sort of is just like a little distant memory. I mustn't have really took much notice at the time.
Well, none of us did, Barry, but
No.
that's the whole point, is that actually it's taken an ITV bloody drama series to bring this to national attention. And now
Absolutely.
suddenly the government are doing something about it. But let's not get political.
I was going to say,
because
this podcast just take a dramatic...
Podcast. Yeah.
Podcast.
Well, that's what happens on a podcast.
Podcast.
Well, podcasts have got the ability to do that.
Term.
But podcasts, then we
I
become
remember
something.
vividly.
My missus does, but I obviously
that's
just
the way
went,
I
oh,
am.
yeah. Well,
I was
hang
thinking...
on, wait, you were in the post? Were you posting at this?
I've worked in.
You've worked in the post.
I know what
So
kind
there
of place it is.
There you go.
I know what kind of. I was thinking Jason Bateman for you.
I'd love. I mean, that's a massive.
That would
Actually,
work.
I don't know where to go now. Go and buy you dinner because I do really like Jason Bateman.
I honestly think. I think if it was an Americanized version, they'd
of
be
course,
looking. And normally.
They want to glow me up, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and they do that a lot. Like
That's
I was
fair
watching
play.
a film recently, and it was a very serious film, and I've seen it a couple of times. And
Does this mean that you want Ryan Reynolds to play you?
no.
though?
I'm fine. I want the fella off the Traitors.
I was going to say that if Paul of the Traitors plays you, they've almost nailed it.
And yeah, it was about a woman who it was again a political story. She took on the government, and she was played by Keira Knightley. And I did a little bit of research.
Yeah.
That was a good actress to play her.
Was it?
I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay,
Keira
fair
Knightley
play.
playing this young woman.
Okay.
There was another guy as well I'm thinking about for you, Baz.
Yeah.
And you might know who this is, Ped,
Hope
because
not.
your televisual knowledge is better than mine.
If he says Chris
Maybe
Maloney, I'm
this
done.
was it. Is it Mark Warren who was in Spooks? Is there a bit of... Do you know who I mean?
Mark Warren. I'm going to have to look, Dave. I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
now, if you... And that's Mark with a C, by the way.
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
Instead of an N.
I've probably got an issue there with the
Why?
fact he's spelling it with a C.
Oh,
to be
no,
fair.
forget that. I'm just talking... This is purely visual, that's all. But I'm just thinking that actually he could... I think Mark Warren as, Mark Warren as... Baz
Yeah.
Cass.
Oh, I know Mark Warren because he.
You know
I
what
know
I
he
mean?
is. He was in. He was in.
Spooks.
Also, he was in Spooks. It's not where I know him from. I know him from. I know he was in Band of Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
And actually, he was in Band of Brothers.
He's been in loads,
And quite
Mark Warren.
famously, well, it's not quite famously. That's me going well over the top.
You're
in Band of
quite
Brothers,
famously.
the character he played, they said had died, and quite recently, the family of the character, he said he went home and committed suicide.
Oh, okay.
And quite recently, the family of him come out and said, no, he wasn't dead. He just lost all his records and stuff. So quite interesting.
Okay, well,
But I also know him from he was in an episode.
Ned.
He was in an episode of Doctor Who. I know he's got on the screen.
Yeah.
And you're not having it. He was in an episode of Doctor Who where Peter Kay was the villain in Doctor Who. Don't know if you remember that episode.
Brilliant. Mark Warham's also in things like Green Street. State to play safe, boss safe is good.
I'd cast him as you personally. That would be my number one choice.
I mean, Ned's gone. Ned's gone with this fella.
Yeah, Ned's gone with
Martin Freeman. Because they're grey.
I mean,
fair play. Ned, get me Paul out of the traitors up. And who's Vitz then? Who's playing Vitz?
Oh, Vitty would be played.
Robert Downey Jr. I think.
Robert Downey Senior, more like, hey,
are you having that? I mean, no one's. Josh Wander's not playing anybody. No. Ned, there's an image of Josh Wander on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know where that's come from. Ned will find it. Dave.
Just told you.
Got an exotic look, Annie. Dave. He's like the hair as well, grey hair. Who's got great hair of mid-30s. Great. There's an emphasis. Here we go. You need to look. He's on the screen now. See, Ped, he's doing quite well, I think.
He's not an actor though.
I know, but I just feel I feel like we could just make him an actor for this one.
See, I can't see this picture on the screen.
But you will see.
Hence my non-reaction.
You will see it now.
If you describe it, then.
No, I won't describe it. What I'll do, Dave, and it'll be done right now.
This is the magic of
this is the magic of all of it. Is that I will actually put it in our group. Yeah, our group.
I see. Yeah, that's clever.
Well, you say it's clever. I mean,
see, I'm going for. If I had to pick one for myself, I'm going for Damian Lewis.
Damien.
Oh, yeah.
You know why you won't pick him though?
Well, he's a red. I know he's a red.
Right.
I know he's a red.
But he's a great actor.
But he's a good actor.
He is a great actor.
And
I think Paul, even though he's got no acting ability, I think he's a closer match.
Is he though?
What about Bunt? We've had. That isn't a bad one.
Is that for Dave?
Yeah, this is for Dave. No, he's got grey hair.
See, again, I can't.
He's gone with Mathew. He's gone with Mathew Broderick.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. I mean, I'd take that. That would work. Yeah, I mean, he's a little older than I am.
Yeah, of course.
He's almost like a more senior version of me.
But again,
he can play you in the future.
If we're Americanizing it, right?
Yeah.
Is Dave not getting a touch of Rob Lowe?
Oh, that's also hugely flattering.
No, but
do you know who my mum?
Jason Bacon, so anything can happen.
Do you know who my mum thinks I look like?
Go on.
She thinks that I look like Ant and Dec.
Both just merged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like if you merge their faces over each other, then she thinks I look like Ant and Dec. I don't know whether it's a good thing. I think it's probably the big forehead.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we've had obviously Lautaro Martinez. We've had before Argentinian striker, Inter striker. The hair, the same hair, grey hair. So Ped, it probably would be Damian Lewis. If America get hold of it, then
I wouldn't know if it was
Bateman, Lewis, and
if it was done here,
Rob Lowe.
If it was done here, they'd go for someone.
Paul's got a shout.
But if we were Americanising the podcast,
because we got a lot of bunchies for you, didn't we?
Bunchies, obviously, but I think that's too on the nose.
Yeah, it's too close, isn't it? But it's an interesting concept, isn't it? Anyway,
it kills.
I mean, it probably need. We probably need a little bit more content than just us three doing a podcast.
Yeah, but it's a start though, Barry. You need to have a start.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Is that this then builds into Toffee TV, the musical as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking. Sorry, just to circle back to the podcast thing. What would happen to Bush?
Would he be the guest star? Wouldn't he?
He'd have to be in it. Would he be?
But he'd be like a big name star who's only coming in now and again. And I'm thinking Will Ferrell. For Bush, just put a pair of glasses on.
Just the glasses on it. Well, that is. I mean, you've gone big. You have gone big.
But just comes in it now and again. But because he only comes in it now and again, you can go big.
There's an impact.
You can go big.
You're saying there's an impact.
And if you're doing it in front of a live studio audience, imagine the reaction when he walks through that door. The door just goes open.
And
everyone just shouts, Bush!
Yeah. And he walks in and goes, that's my name, you tit.
Yeah,
and all that. Well, hey, classic. There we go. We recorded the last episode after Everton's 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace in the FA Cup. The terrible injustice of Dominic Calvert-Lewin being sent off, to which we still haven't.
Are they still looking?
They're still apparently looking. They're now on 1,846th rewatch of the challenge to decide that he must have done something.
They've got to go through our books first.
They've got to. But they're busy with Everton. There's There's an appeal. There's an appeal for the 10 points we hammered them with. Okay. What else with Everton?
We're going to do them for
what else with Everton? Oh, hang on. Should we do them for a bit more money? And what? There's these fellas trying to take it over and give it a bit of guidance. No, we put that to the bottom of the pile there. And now they want their appeal. These never shut up, these. And the bleeding fan. We've got a letter here from something called the Fans Forum.
Just and Barry Williams. There's just a department of the Premier League. The Everton department, just at the Premier League. Just one whole wing.
Everton, the Everton Stray.
And it's a bit like, yes, I'll hold. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. You hold them for weeks. It obviously no defeat at the weekend is great.
What a weekend!
But obviously the draw was made last night, Dave, and Luton, it's Bolton or Luton now, isn't it? Because Bolton got a good result at Kenilworth Road at the weekend. You'd still obviously favour Luton because of the Premier League side, but you never know, depends on how serious they take that replay. Great opportunity for Bolton at home to get another Premier League side in the next round, whether it be Everton or Crystal Palace. But if it was from an Everton perspective, it's not a bad draw at all, really, Dave. Home tie.
I think it's a good draw. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest with you. Happily face either of those two. I agree. I think it's more likely to be Luton, but the way that Bolton are playing as well, and up for the cup and all that, it could be them as well. But happy with that. I'm mainly happy with the home tie, to be honest with you.
The thing is, Dave, though, what you are forgetting is, have Luton got the ability to go to the Tough Sheet Stadium on a Tuesday night?
Yeah.
And is there ever been a more appropriate stadium?
It is a Tough Sheet
Stadium. Tough Sheet Stadium. I mean, what a name. What a name.
Absolutely.
And they've got to go there on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. And it's the 16th of Jan. I don't know whether that makes any difference. It's a week today.
I don't know whether it does.
Tough Sheet Stadium.
The Tough Sheet Stadium. And the worst thing about that is you've got to contend with people trying to park to go the Aston.
It's a difficult one.
And as you're trying to get into...
Is the bowling still there? The bowling alley still there at the end?
I was there in the summer. I went for pre-season. I went for pre-season, and luckily enough, I did have my parking validated,
sure
which always helps.
Massively helps there.
But, the next was busy. The Asda was busy, but I didn't see the bowling.
They still got a Subway there as well. I remember that from years ago. I think there was a Subway there. As in the sandwich shop, not like an underground walkway to another world.
They had the KFC just plonked in the middle, didn't he? Loved that. Brilliant. Great times. Went to the Reebok Stadium. That's what they done wrong. Now it's the Tough Sheet Stadium.
Barry,
it's a difficult
wash your
one.
mouth out.
I apologise. Yeah, so, Ped, you reported this exclusively on our daily...
exclusive is a bit of a...
Well, it is exclusively because it was you.
Yeah,
so,
that is true. Yeah.
Someone will
that'll be
redo
in the
it.
Show.
Well, someone will redo it and just talk about it.
But that moment will be in the show.
That's made it into the Netflix doc. It's got to. But, not a bad draw, really.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not, you've got to get through Palace first. And if that happens, then we can get it. Then we can get excited.
Is Elise back for the replay?
Of course he is. Anyone they ever had injured ever will be back.
They bring him back. Andy Gray.
Yeah. Andy Johnson.
Mark Bright signing. Ian Wright said he might come out of, our retirement. Eric Young. And also Vinnie Jones.
Alan Pardew.
Pards is there. Pards will be there.
He'll be there dancing on the
time.
He'll be there dancing, won't he?
Be loving it. Pards just giving it the all. Giving it all that. And Joby McAnuff said, look, I'll play in the replay to tell referees what's a red card and what isn't. But there you go. Yeah, it'll be a good one. Tough one this weekend, Dave, albeit it is at Goodison Park, so that's a boost for Everton. They should have Abdoulaye Doucouré available. And that is a huge boost to Sean Dyche if he is available, isn't it?
Yeah, massive. And he's been sorely missed, I would suggest, in his absence. Big game at the weekend. But actually, do you know what? I think it's the sort of game that we need.
I agree.
I think it's the sort of game that we need because we play better against the better sides. And I just think that we need to get back to us a little bit and the kind of performances and team displays that we saw, before the Christmas period And I think we need to get that back. I think we need some confidence back, and I think this is a good way of doing it. I mean, it will be tough for sure, but I'm actually not disappointed to be playing Villa at this moment in time.
I mean, Ped, they're very much in a title race at the moment where they are, but they're not unbelievable. They're not. You don't look at it and go, we haven't got a chance. I look at it and think, got an opportunity here because they are a good side. But I seen them against Burnley around Christmas, and they were up in that, and Burnley equalised, and we only had 10 men and were chasing it, and they got in a few times, Burnley, from one straight ball, and it was just poor finish and let them down. But I think, like Dave said, this is a good opportunity for Everton to dust themselves down.
It's a bit of a reset, isn't it?
Yeah, it is big energy, and having Decore.
Yeah, they're quite a relentless side, Villa, aren't they? They keep going, they wear you down. They've got a tremendous back line. That's what worries me a little bit, the back line. They've been so organised and have played so well. That's with our sort of our lack of ability to score, and that is an issue. And obviously at the moment, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is suspended. Beto obviously will be available, and hopefully Decore is available. Gives us it gives us something, because something we haven't had in that area. So it will be a tough game, and you have to approach it like that. You have to look at it and think, well, for them it's a big game as well. They've had a dodgy Christmas, haven't they? You know, they had a great opportunity to go top of the league, blew it, and the results following that weren't great. They dropped off a little bit, and they sneaked through in the cup as well, away. So yeah, of course it'll be tough, but you know, gives us that opportunity. The players will have had 10 days rest, hopefully, to freshen up a little bit, a few days off, get a few players back, and we give them a good go. And you know, because we have to start obviously picking points up quite quickly now with everything going on, and try and drag ourselves away. And we obviously could be in the bottom three going into this game as well. Which is a bit of just a mental thing, isn't it?
They play Burnley, don't they?
They play Burnley on Friday night, and that's more of a little mental thing, isn't it? Just
it's horrible, that, because if anyone's to win, we need it to be Burnley. But a draw is probably the best result, and then that puts Luton level with us. But that's just the way it is for now.
No, that is the way it is, isn't it? That is the way it is, and we just have to contend with that and start picking up points in the second half of the season.
The importance of Decore, I don't think, can be overstated, Dave. And we got given a stat last week, which is incredible, that Everton have only won 3 games without him since he signed, which is that's a crazy stat in my opinion. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So that shows you the importance, particularly since Sean Dyche's come in. He's on 1 in 3. 1 goal every 3 games for Dyche, which is a brilliant return.
He's huge, not just, I mean, in terms of what he creates and just his box-to-box play, but actually the fact that he finishes as well. You know, he's often the person there, you know, when shot goes in, gets rebounded or something, the person you want on the edge of the box to leather, it's him. So we have missed him. But on that note, in a similar vein, Onana, take money for him? Or, I mean, personally, I would. I'd take good money for Onana myself.
I wouldn't right now. I think he's going to go in the summer anyway, regardless. I worry, Dave, that we just can't replace him this month. And I think, you know, if Everton had 28 points and it was a little bit of a different feel around it, you might look and go, well, if he wants out and we can get a good amount of money for him, then we can strengthen it and all that. But I just look where we are, and I just think he's key to what we do. And he splits opinions. Some people don't think he's that good. Others like him. I think he's one of those players that when he moves to a better side, people will start going, oh my God, what a player he is. But I just think right now he's too important to let go. And given we don't have a lot of midfield players, and January's such a tough window, Ped, to go and replace someone of that importance.
Yeah, I just don't see us replacing him. And I think that is that extra little bit of quality which will keep us away from, well, hopefully will keep us away from the bottom 3, having players like him who can dominate games. So, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, Dave. Timing for me is just, you know, let's sell when we want to sell rather than someone dictate to us. You know, I just don't see us replacing him, and that's the biggest fear, Dave. We've all been in this for a long time, and we all know how the club works. And you know, if they had someone lined up, or they had 2 or 3 lined up, then maybe you'd look at it. But I look at it and think, if we sell him, we haven't even got a replacement for him at the club right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. You know, I suppose my decision is based on a hypothetical situation in terms of he's a valued asset. He's worth a lot of money, you know, which we need. But as you say, it's all about replacement. It's about timing. And unfortunately, you know, at the time of recording, it's the 9th of January. You can see that, you know, if he was to go in January, it would drag out until the 25th or something, and then we'd be left with our pants down with nothing. You know, we'd have some money in the bank, but a severely weakened side.
And that money can ebb away, then we know that, can't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And really, you know, you want to sell him in. Go on.
I suppose what I'm trying to say is the fact that he just does, for me, you know, we've just you know, hailed the praises of Doucouré. He's not as important as Doucouré for me. You know, he's not. I know he's a good player, but I could see us living without him with the with the right money and the right replacements.
I know what you're saying, absolutely, but that's for me anyway. That's a conversation in the summer. But I think he allows Doucouré to do what he does, whereas I don't think if we sold him now, I do a lot of looking around the players and replacements and think ahead and go, if we sold him, could we get... I just don't see who could come in and hit the ground running. I think you get them in the summer. If he don't forget, there's the Euros this summer as well, and he'll be going with Belgium. So therefore, his value will go up again. He is only 22 years of age. And I think if he goes and does okay, I think a lot of clubs will be looking in his direction. And then that gives the manager and the coaching staff a plan, and Kevin Thelwell, and therefore they can identify his replacements, and then you can get him in. And if it's someone like Kefren Tora, who Everton have, you know, Liverpool were umming and ahhing over buying last summer and didn't, but he's available. Someone like him is young and powerful enough to do it. Just say it was him, and I'm not saying for 1 minute that Everton will be able to get him, but wages in Premier League often gives you players that you think you might not be able to get. If he was to come in then early July, then he's got that 4 or 5 weeks, hasn't he, to bed in before the onus is on him. I just think now, even if you could go and get a player like that, how many times have players come in January and just had no impact? And I just think that is way too risky where Everton are, in my opinion. And obviously Idrissa Gana, I know he was sub for Senegal yesterday. Ghana didn't get on. Can we just rely on him? Because without him, we don't have a defensive midfield player. We really don't. So I just think, just right now, Dave, I just think he's too important to let go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tough game. Can we win? We've got 2 home games in, 3 days, isn't it? And if Everton were to win both of them, then they'd be in a great position, I think. Wouldn't he? They'd be...
It's tough, but it ain't tough sheet.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And even if we get through, it won't be tough sheet.
No.
And unless we draw, then we would be in the tough sheet then, wouldn't we?
Without VAR.
Without VAR.
And everyone knows, no VAR, tough sheet.
Yeah, that's it. That's what that's literally what they say there.
I mean, isn't it a ludicrous situation, as you say, which, you know, was highlighted at the weekend with the Sunderland Newcastle game, is that, you know, had it gone to a replay back at St James's, then obviously VAR would have been... I mean, what a nonsense.
Yeah.
The fact that it's in one leg and not in the other leg. I mean...
It's crazy. I don't understand how you can have a cup competition that, just depending on where you're playing, they use this extra. I don't get it. I just think it shouldn't. And they're talking, and they've obviously, in the Carabao Cup, them semis of this week, the first legs, they've binned VAR because Middlesbrough are in it, and they don't have it, so they've said it's not getting used in either semi-final. That's fine. That's a sensible decision. I'd go as far as saying don't even use it in the final, because you've gone all that way without it. Why would you then bring it in for a final? You know what I mean?
Surely for me, it's a lot easier, whereby if you've got a competition, as any cup competition is, which goes beyond top flight, which is the only league in this country that has VAR, is that surely you just have to do without it, so that you have a level playing field all the way along.
But I mean,
that's the only way you can possibly do it, so that, you know, if whatever. If
It's
Bolton are playing Plymouth or something like that,
Yeah.
then it's the same as if Spurs are playing Man United. It's just, it's an equal playing field.
I saw a lot of people commenting at the weekend saying, isn't it great to watch a game of footy without VAR? It's like brilliant. I remember what footy, and we're only talking a few years. It's not been that long. And people are saying, oh my God, this was when footy was good, when there was no VAR. That's obviously massively romanticised, isn't it? But it's bad, isn't it?
It's a slightly
yeah.
Go on, Dave.
But how can it just be? How can in this cup competition it be based on the venue as opposed to the competition as a whole?
Remember Millwall? Remember Millwall when we went out when Silva was the manager?
See, I think the way they look at it, I think we look at it as fans different from what the people who obviously organise the tournaments. The people who organise the tournaments look at it as a tool to help referees. But as a fan now, and I think this is the disconnect between the fan and the people who, the officials and everything else is, the organisations is, they see it as like a tool to help the referee. We see it as something that referees the game.
Yeah.
So we see it as something.
Getting evidence of that.
You put up on last night, or you retweeted the one last night of Tom Cannon from the weekend, where they get shoved in the box, and it's a clear penalty, and the ref just waves it on, and that to me that's the problem. The refs are the problem with the game. I personally don't think VAR is the problem with the game. I think the refs are
the people using it.
The problem is now the way they use it means that everything gets looked at. We can't enjoy goals the same way. We all know this. We all know this. We're all football fans. We know this. So you now we're all used to that. We sit there and we watch the match, and if there's no VAR, we can go, phew, it's a goal. We don't have to worry about it. The red linesman hasn't got a flag up.
That's it, yeah, we can enjoy it.
So they have to get away, if they continue to use it, which they will, of course, to get back to that state of, we're not looking to try and stop goals. We're not looking how to send somebody off. They have to somehow change our minds as fans, because, as I said, they look at it as a tool to help the referee. Well, we clearly now see it as the tool to referee the games of football, and that's a worrying place to be in. And I think that's the difference between VAR in this country and VAR in other countries. I don't think in other countries they use it to literally referee the games, because that's what's going on now. Sean Dyche keeps on saying, why did he keep sending people to the screen? Because you know what the outcome is. Until that starts breaking, until a referee start looking at things going, no, it wasn't a sending off. No, I'm not disallowing that goal. No, I'm not changing my decision. Then we as fans, people in football will continue to look at the situation thinking, what's the point with having all these different things? And it's sad. It's sad that people are now doing that.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on, Dave.
On that front, and I genuinely don't know the answer to this because I've never really thought about it. But in terms of VAR and what is required for it, right? And why it is only available at Premier League grounds, is that because there is technology and in infrastructure in the ground? In other words, there is stuff within the ground that Kenilworth Road has, ironically, that the Stadium of Light, which ironically is a far bigger, better stadium. Is it because they have... How does it work? I don't know.
Paid for by the Premier League. It's put in the summer. All the sight lines must have to already be developed and everything. Right. And that's basically the reason. And it's one of the reasons why, well, it's sort of the similar reason why we don't have the offside they have in the Champions League yet, is because for the same reasons, is because because of the way it works in the Champions League is they have cameras that are already put in place that are purposely in there, not as TV cameras, but obviously to know where the players and the ball are at all times. Yep. So again, it's just a case of having to change that every year and having to put it in place. And there's talk of the ball as well. The ball needs to be made by a certain manufacturer or certainly not the manufacturer that makes the Premier League ball at the moment. And all these little things that... Yeah, so you can't just install VAR cameras at your ground. Yeah, I
wasn't sure how it works. It's not just a case of people, having in other words, it's not a technology which is entirely done in post, i.e. they've got the same pictures in Stockley Park, whether it's from, the Stadium of Light or Kenilworth Road. It's actually to do with stuff in the ground that's creating the lines. Okay.
Yeah. And so if you get relegated, the sad day when, two workmen turn up and go, can we take our cameras back?
Disconnect your VAR.
Just disconnect.
Yeah.
Pull the plug. I'll take the router back.
That's when you know. That's when it's real.
Trouble.
That's when it's real.
Trouble, yeah. It's a nonsense rule. It's a nonsense rule. As we move forward and the weather starts to get a little bit better, my missus showed me this. It's one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ned'll put it on the screen now. Look in our group. Dave. I mean, the headline or the tagline that goes with the image that you were all seeing now is, are you concerned about having ugly feet this summer? No worries. We got you covered.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. They're not exactly decent feet, are they?
No. So for people, I mean, look.
They just
look at the big toe.
So for people listening on the podcast, this is a pair of sandals which have human feet in them, with where you insert your feet into them, so it looks like
you mean human looking
feet? Yeah, I do not.
They look like human feet.
I can't qualify that.
Hang on. You know when you fill in your donor card, you're not kind of putting in there the fact that you will happily donate your actual feet to a factory in Taiwan to make sandals.
Absolutely.
Listen. What happens in Taiwan stays in
Stranger things have happened, obviously.
So they are human-looking, very, very, very good copies of human feet.
I mean, that big toe.
Yeah, that gives it the realistic feel. I think
it does.
So there's a pair of feet in these which look like already terrible sandals themselves, and you place your feet into the ankle, obviously, so that it looks they are horrendous.
Would Ned wear them?
Because Ned would wear them.
He's made some terrible choices on his feet. Today isn't one of them, but he's come in with some pretty out there choices, and he is a man that wants Crocs. Remember?
Yeah.
Would he be? I wouldn't put it past him bouncing in a pair like this. Maybe not.
They'd have to be in sliders though, rather than those sandals, because the sandals are a little bit. Again, they are. It's four. Well, he looks like a spider essentially, holding.
It does look like a spider holding a foot. In place.
And at the back there is a couple of straps. It's very disturbing. Very, 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 very
not great.
Disturbing.
That is it. Yeah. It's not great. I've seen better.
And the big toe is there's nothing nice about them.
No.
They do look like ugly
They're not pretty feet, are they?
No, not at all.
You can sometimes have pretty feet, I think, but those aren't they?
Veiny as well.
They're not great.
Veiny.
They're not great.
No.
But listen, hey, people.
And who told you about these?
Me missus seen it and just went, look at this.
Really?
And I said,
dropping hints for Valentine's Day?
No, I
maybe?
don't think so. I don't. She's got nice feet.
It wasn't a situation of like, oh well, you like this, maybe you'll like these as well. Kind of comparative shopping. Oh, you've ordered these.
She basically just went, look at this, and I said, send it to me because we are going to discuss that on the podcast.
Some kind of sex aid, are they?
I don't think so. I mean,
for people who like feet.
What would that? How would that get you excited? They're terrible.
People like feet.
They can't like terrible feet, surely.
Oh, some people like a foot rub, I believe.
That's fine.
Or like,
that's fine. But if surely if foot fetish is where you're at, which is fine, different, different strokes for different folks.
Oh, very much different strokes.
Exactly. I look at them and just think they can't. Well, maybe they can. I don't.
But we do live in a world where people will buy pictures of other people's feet off them.
People, there's
only toes,
only feet or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, I'd imagine that there probably is some kind of market for people being sent worn socks in the post.
I imagine
that
there
kind
is.
of thing.
Yeah. I imagine there is.
It's a good one though. Ned's actually said he'd wear them if someone lent them to him.
Well, he would. I don't know whether he'd go and buy them.
So he'd have somebody else's feet.
Yeah, in there. And a bit of discolouring from the sweating in there. They'd be loving it.
That's disgusting.
Fair.
I wonder if you can get like accessories, so you can paint the nails.
Possibly.
Or if there are other sandals to go round said false feet.
Yeah, you might be able to pimp them up and actually, sort of buy different parts.
Yeah.
Just paint them and pretend they're like you've got socks on with them.
Pimp my toes.
Pimp my toes. Pimp my feet.
Are there a German version where you get socks to go into the sandals?
Maybe.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's interesting. Yeah.
It's a whole topic.
Feet of the world.
Fair play. I also saw this the other day and thought, this is a little bit deep, but we are going to discuss it.
Okay.
Right? Have you ever thought or realised, right?
Yeah.
That we're probably within a generation that is the last living humans, right? That existed pre-internet. Okay?
Okay.
Kids, so this had the thing with kids will never know what it's like to experience boredom, to go outside and do things to achieve and to be occupied.
Yeah.
Because nowadays you've got everything at your fingertips.
Everything.
When we were kids, without going all,
fake feet.
when we were, we certainly didn't have sandals with feet in when we were kids. But there was no internet. There was no, social media and all that. If you said this before, if you wanted to see if your mate was in, you'd go and knock for someone, or you'd go down to the field, the pitch, see if everyone was having a game of footy, whatever. But we had to leave our house to interact with a lot of different people. And we had to leave our house to, like you say, get over that boredom. Like I've got obviously Zach, was off school over Christmas, and barring a couple of days, was basically playing on his PlayStation, talking to all his mates. They have a party and they're all chatting and they're playing games or whatever.
But it's technology reliant, though, isn't it?
Exactly.
In the same way that when we were kids, an old piece of wood and a few house bricks or something like that, and then that was a whole day's entertainment with your bikes and lining your mates up and pretending to be Evel Knievel. I do that for hours.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you'd
Until you then had to go home, when your mum had your tea on.
And that's it, isn't it?
And you'd occasionally break something and do your best to hide that from your parents.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, listen, there was lots of lamps in our living room that was glued.
No, I meant bones.
Oh, bones.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't really hide broken bones from your parents. I mean, I remember we were playing in. We decided one day to have take a golf club into the local school and play. No, but we weren't trying to
You'd be on Sky News now.
Yeah, but we were just hitting balls
At the school?
No, on the grass in the school. And we're just practicing that, like a 9-iron, so I wasn't going that far. And one day I've hit it too well. And it's cleared the fence and went through the corner of me mate's nan's front room. And it was an unbelievable shot because it was one of those old windows that had the lead lining, but they were in blocks, the window. So you've got the big window and then you've got the sash that opens, and it was divided into 6 little blocks. And the golf shot I hit went in the top corner of one of these, right in the corner. So luckily they could just replace that little thing. So they let us off with it. But the noise as it hit the window and you heard the shatter, heart-sinking moment. Probably similar.
Well, your heart would have been shattered in the same way as the glass, perhaps.
Exactly. And if someone turned up with those sandals for me, would have a similar feeling. But it is, when you think of it like that, it is mad, isn't it, that everybody else won't, Ned will never, ever have experienced that. Yeah, listen, I get it. You talk to your grandpa, we haven't got any, but, you talk to older people and go, yeah, well, when I was a kid, we had the war and we had this and we had that. We can't think of it like that.
We had the
war to entertain us.
You know what I mean? War, though.
There was a war.
But we can talk
going
about
on
COVID and lockdown and stuff like that, can't we?
Exactly, but yeah. I mean, that was a modern day
flip
war.
phones.
We did.
We had flip phones.
Not at first, we didn't.
No, but we got them eventually.
I know, but I'm saying, as we were kids, there's that, which I think a lot of young people just would never, ever now be able to get their heads around.
No.
The fact that part of life is gone, it will never, ever return. You will always have technology. Don't you find that?
Is this like a VAR thing you're trying to get into the conversation?
The kids, just have a look. When we used to go to a match, there was no VAR. No, do you know what I mean? No, when you think of it like that, it is a crazy thing, really, isn't it? That they never ever have to think about that now because technology is driven in such a different way.
I think especially as well is that when you see really, really small kids stroke babies, who are only like a year old and already they're completely familiar with a touch screen,
Yeah.
And even someone was telling me the other day that there was a kid and they had like a piece of paper with a drawing on it, and this kid automatically was doing that.
Trying to make it bigger, yeah.
To make it bigger.
Yeah.
Because
That's
just
worrying.
instinctively, that's how
you
that
do it.
works, you know.
I mean, we've all done that. I'm always doing it with photos. I go,
Are
God,
you
I
just
can't
trying to make
that
everything look bigger?
Just to make it look, you know, to zoom in. You can't put a
it's all
kid
about the
doing
fingers,
it.
isn't it?
Exactly, Dave. Well, I remember when Zach was about, I don't know, 16 months or something. I remember he had my phone. He just started like, he was just flicking through the photos, you know, with like one finger, just going to, and it's like, we were like, what, how's he, you know, but they're taking everything in. But that's where
That's
technology
their language,
is.
isn't it?
That's it. And it's not saying it's a bad thing, but it is just it's a weird thing to think we're probably the last kind of generation. Maybe, and there'll be people that are just a little bit younger, but then after that, so what, 95, wasn't it really, that like the internet was available for people? I remember being in uni and it was like this big thing, and you had to go on this search engine and you loaded up, and then you done this and done that. But I just think that is mad that we're all sharing this planet, but we're like the last who have experienced that thing. That's scary when you become that generation where you're like do you know what I mean? You're like the oldest kind of generation that can remember that. And then they go, and then this new one will never ever, you know, after.
Do you think we'll develop like bigger thumbs and things for, you know, in time?
Said that, haven't they?
I don't know, because my nephew on Christmas Day was just had no issue. Like, he was just like talking to his iPad, like, you know, just like, you know, obviously using the Google thing, just find me this, find me that. So already they've moved on from using their thumbs to just telling crazy.
Well, that's it though, isn't it? We all do it with Alexa, or you know, if you're driving with Siri or do whatever, it's there, isn't it? You can just ask it and it'll find it for you, and you've got it with my TV does it. You say,
do you want to weird? I heard this weird thing. It's not weird, but it's weird when you first hear it. So I heard this the other day. There's this story. There was this story about this guy Harrison Ruffin Taylor. He's 91 years of age, right? And this tells you how we're talking about kids and all this, but this tells you how closely how time moves really fast.
Oh yeah.
His grandfather, John Taylor, was the 10th president of the United States and was born in 1790, and was part of George Washington's.
His grandfather.
Wow. And so he's 91 years of age, and his grandfather was in George Washington's cabinet. And it just came out in America the other day, even though it's one of those things, and the Americans were just like, how? How can someone still be alive whose grandfather was the 10th president of the United States? And that just shows you, we think time like is just like, you know, the last, it's nothing. It's a couple of generations. You know, you speak to I'm sure we all, like, you know, spoke to me dad and you mentioned like iPads or talking, he'd go, bloody hell. Well, the big one, we made our own bikes. That's what I was told we made our own bikes. We used to go round looking for bits and parts, and we made our own bikes. So that's where we are now.
Nice to make our own goals in like So me nan's was in Wellstead Road. So I was there with a group of us would always just go and play footy all day, sitting like summer holidays and things like that, or Christmas. We'd go up, everyone was off school. And what we'd done, you know, a little bit of vandalism, but it wasn't vandalism.
No,
so,
it wasn't vandalism.
No, I'll tell you why. You know the fences?
Oh, yeah.
So them, like, poles.
Yeah.
So if one was broke off so you could get in the field, if there was another one loose, you'd always find it just laying in.
If it was loose.
No, listen. So the grass went, and then there was a little ditch to where the fences were, just like a small one. You'd always find one of those fence posts in there. So if there was another loose one, you might break it off. And then then you'd whack them into the ground. They'd become the two goalposts. You're only doing it to play football and all that.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And that was
recreational.
Exactly, recreational. So we should build our own goals. That was it. And I remember once someone had the bright idea that we'll get wood and we'll just hammer it together. Put the net on. It'll be great. My God, have you ever tried to bloody make a goal like that with not the strong? Because we had nets. I've got nets. And we tried to put up, and it looked great. We had the pin back, it looked great.
See, we were
so you hit it with two shots, and then it went.
As Dave said before, we were the generation who, certainly in Liverpool, we played on building sites. I never thought anything of it. Or, jumped over massive chasms on our BMXs and stuff like that. We are what they showed in Stranger Things.
Yeah. It's the bike,
we are that generation of I just remember when I was a kid, there'd be loads of building sites that they'd stop building for one reason or another, and the next minute you've suddenly got this adventure playground, and you wouldn't think anything of it.
Which is terrifying, isn't it?
Now, my God,
it's terrifying.
But also, it was a fact that our parents had no idea where we were.
Yeah.
I mean, in the days now where kids are. They're tracked by satellite on apps and stuff, so they know exactly where they are. If they're walking home from the bus stop or whatever, you can see where they are step by step. In those days, as you say, you came back from school, you got changed, you went out on your bike, and you were out, and nobody knew where you were until you came, and you were completely uncontactable.
Yeah, absolutely mad.
And everywhere you said you were, you obviously weren't.
No, you'd say, I'm going to thingy, we went to Southport when I was 6 with my mate Antonio. Which is bizarre when I think back, terrifying. I don't know how to get a bus.
How old was Antonio?
Antonio was
34.
I was going to say.
Help me out.
And he had a pizza parlour.
I told you that. He was a knobhead. We got the bus into town and knew how to get the train to Southport. 6, by the way. Terrifies me now. I go cold when I think about it. And we went to the fair. And I wanted to go on the ghost train, and he wanted to go on the Helter Skelter. So I said to him, right, go on the Helter Skelter. When you get to the bot, just wait there. I'll be a bit longer because this is a ghost. And I went on. Fine. I wouldn't go on the ghost train on my own now. I'd done it. I came out the ghost train, walked over to the Helter Skelter. He disappeared. So I was like,
what a generation.
He must have gone home. So I walked back from Southport Fun Fair at 6.
I'm going to say, Dave, the early 70s, man. What a place.
Right.
What a place.
So being 78, 79, I walked back to the train station, got the train home to Lime Street, got the bus from Lime Street to Picton Clock, got off there, walked, knocked up me mate Rob on the way. So that's just been to Southport.
You're 6? What are you knocking on people's doors
to see Rob? And then it got to me nan's, who lived a little bit further down the street. And as I got there, the next minute my dad pulled up with Antonio in the back, and the police had rang, and I was in big trouble. That was
to be fair,
I deserved it.
To be fair, when I was a kid, and I don't know if you did this, I'm sure Dave didn't do this, but I was literally just given a save away and just told to go away. Like, literally, you just get your save away. You might scratch it off, you might not.
Yeah, and exactly. You put your finger on it when you go on. Just get on a bus and mate.
Just get on a bus and go round.
Well, you know what? We all knew where we were, didn't we? We knew, like, bus routes. Get the 46 to the mats and things like that. I admitted when I was about, like, 10. But a few of us would get the bus to the mats and go to the mats.
Imagine telling a kid now, there's a save away, just go.
I'd be terrified. If Zach's like nearly 13 next week, if I went to there's a save away, I'd be like, no, I don't like him even getting the bus. But that's what it was like. And the other thing as well, we'd all have a big game on a Sunday afternoon. Right, so it'd be lads from around, like, whatever, and we'd have 2 teams, and it'd be like 9 aside. But all it was obviously just, we're playing at 2. You know what? There was 9 aside there. People turned up. Now you've got apps and all that. People, I can't make it. I'm busy.
This generation.
But bikes, throw the bikes down. On we go. Great game. This generation don't know they're born. Well, I mean, they
do. Because you can look on
the app. The app will tell them where they are and what they're doing and what they have for the tea and what the mates have for the tea. So,
there you go.
Great times from a 3-hour back.
Glory days.
We sound like really old people.
That's it.
Now,
good. It's good to just reminisce at times and to let the younger group of people who listen go, but no internet. Knobheads. There you go.
We just had shouting.
That was our internet.
Get in for your tea.
Yeah, that was the internet in them days. And you knock for someone and they weren't in. Do you know where they've gone? Said he was going to blah, or you'd go down. There'd be like 3 places where you'd check. If they weren't in one, they were in the second.
Obesity wasn't rife when I was a kid. I know that. Because we walked everywhere.
Exactly, we had to walk everywhere. And there was flashes.
That's all I'm saying.
But that's a different one. There was always flashes.
There was flashes.
Let's talk about flashes next week.
Another time.
Next week. Yeah, there's a cliffhanger for you.
It is. More on Dave's roof and flashes next week. Right, we are
The 2 aren't connected, by the way.
No, is your roof finished?
You have flashing on your roof.
It's a flat roof, so actually easy to stand on and get a good purchase for whatever activity you want it to be doing. And actually a good vantage point for displaying stuff far and wide, but no, they're not connected. But we can talk about that next week.
And if you do have flat roofs, they do have LED flashings on to keep the connection.
This is a flashing connection. I like it.
There you go. We like it. There you go. Right, that's us done. Make sure you like, subscribe, give it a 5-star rating, do all of that good stuff. Big thanks to Dave. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
He's just waving. Yeah, he's on the roof, flashing, checking the flashing. Right, we're going. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.